All the attempt of man to arrive at universal sympathy, universal love, and the understanding or knowledge of the inner soul of other existences is an attempt to beat thin, breach, and eventually break down by the power of the enlarging mind and heart the walls of ego and arrive nearer to a cosmic oneness. So, there are so many beautiful things here. He speaks of the cosmic mind. The cosmic consciousness has many levels. The cosmic physical, the cosmic vital, the cosmic mind. And then he says, and above that, the overmind. And still above that, the supermind, where the transcendental begins. In order to live in the intuition plane, not merely to receive intuition, one has to live in the cosmic consciousness, because there the cosmic and individual run into each other, as it were, and the mental separation between them is already broken down. So nobody can reach there who is still in the separative ego. So we now have the Eternal's promise to his laboring force. Now we have the Eternal capitalized. And he says very simply, the Eternal is our refuge. All the rest are false values. The ignorance and its mazes, the self-bewilderment of the soul, nominal nature. So the Eternal is our refuge.
Okay.
So then we have to go to the next line. Inducing the world passion to begin. This world passion is hyphenated. And being hyphenated, it is one word. It's this passion of the world in hyphenated form to create form, to create an evolution, spiritual substance, and human beings, animals, plants. So inducing the world passion to begin. And then he says it's the cry of birth into mortality. And also it's the opening verse of the tragedy of time. What a beautiful line. I think we've talked a lot about time before, have we not?
Yes.
So let's continue with lines from Savitri.
Okay. So, Narad sir, just one question here. When they say tragedy of time, is it
Well, the tragedy of time is the creation.
okay?
The creation is not perfect. It's evolving. And therefore, that's a beautiful poetic sense in that tragedy of time. Very Shakespearean. Very Shakespearean line. So he doesn't mean that it's a total tragedy of time. What he means is simply that we are going through ups and downs, positives and negatives, pain and joy. So there is a tragedy of time in all of that.
Okay.
Okay for you? Satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay. So let's carry on.
Sure. Out of the depths, the world's buried secret rose. He read the original, a kiss kept back in the locked archives of the scripts, of the spirit script.
Yeah, so it's UK's.
UK's.
And I'll give you something for that. We have a definition that it's any proclamation or decree, an order or regulation of a final or arbitrary nature. Now here's what Sri Aurobindo says. I have accented on the first syllable, as I have done often with words like occult, divine. It is a Russian word. It is a Russian word, and foreign words in English often tend to get their original accent shifted as far backward as possible. I have heard many do that with UCase. You see, he even takes a word and gives us a full explanation of what that word is.
And saw the signature and fiery seal of wisdom on the dim power's hooded work, who builds in ignorance the steps of light.
Wow. So he sees this signature and this fiery seal, but it's the seal of wisdom that is on top of the dim power's hooded work. Hooded means, you have a helmet over your head or a hat. So it's a dim power, but power here is capitalized, and it's a hooded work. So the work is being done very silently. And what is that work? To build in ignorance the steps of light. So he builds that in ignorance. So we have to go a little bit into these words. Wisdom, first of all. In the hour of God, Sri Aurobindo writes, there are two allied powers in man, knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is so much of the truth seen in a distorted medium, as the mind arrives at by groping. Wisdom, what the eye of divine vision sees in the spirit. So you see the difference here. He defines so clearly knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is just so much of the truth, but it's seen in a distorted medium. And that distorted medium, Shilpa, is the mind arriving at something by groping. So we have a lot of that in our history of humanity, where people grope for knowledge. But wisdom is so different. It's simply the eye of divine vision sees in the spirit. Another thing he says is in Essays in Divine and Human, reason divides, fixes details, and contrasts them. Wisdom unifies, marries contrasts in a single harmony. And lastly, from the Mother, volume 15, wisdom cannot be acquired except through union with the divine consciousness.
Okay. Very, very powerful.
Very powerful. So, who builds in ignorance the steps of light? Now, we just read about the divine eye of perception. And in the Life Divine, Sri Aurobindo says, ignorance is the absence of the divine eye of perception, which gives us the sight of the supramental truth. It is the non-perceiving principle in our consciousness, as opposed to the truth-perceiving conscious vision and knowledge. Ignorance means avidya, the separative consciousness, and the egoistic mind and life, that flow from it, and all that is natural to the separative consciousness and the egoistic mind and life. The ignorance is the result of a movement by which the cosmic intelligence separated itself from the light of the supermind, the divine gnosis, and lost the truth. So the cosmic intelligence separated itself from the light of the supermind, the divine gnosis, and lost the truth. Truth of being, truth of divine consciousness, truth of force and action, truth of Ananda. As a result, instead of a world of integral truth and divine harmony created in the light of the divine gnosis, we have a world founded on the part truths of an inferior cosmic intelligence in which all is half truth, half error. Wow.
Very, very powerful lines.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we can move on.
Sure. A sleeping deity opened deathless eyes. He saw the unshaped thought in soulless forms, new matter pregnant with spiritual sense, mind where the study of the unknowable, life its gestation of the golden child.
Well, first I want to share um, something from Letters on Yoga, which is so important. Sri Aurobindo defines the golden child. Uh, I suppose the golden child is the truth soul, which follows after the silver light of the spiritual.
Okay.
When it plunges into the black waters of the subconscious, it releases from it the spiritual light and the sevenfold streams of the divine energy, and clearing itself of the stains of the subconscious, it prepares its flight towards the supreme divine, the mother.
Wow.
Yeah, we are really into a very powerful section here. So, mind is going to dare the study of the unknowable. So, we have mind doing that. We have matter, which is now pregnant with spiritual sense. So, we know that matter is now pregnant, filled with spiritual sense. And Ashwapati even sees the unshaped thought in soulless forms, forms that have no soul as yet. They're not manifested into a human body as yet. And then after matter pregnant with that, then he says, mind, dare the study of the unknowable, life, its gestation of the golden child. We go a little more, we have time.
Okay. Narad, so sure you have time, right? It's almost.
Yeah, we can go 10 minutes yet.
Okay. In the light flooding thoughts, blank vacancy, interpreting the universe by soul signs, he read from within the text of the without. The riddle grew plain and lost its catch obscure.
Good reading. So in this light that we've seen of the golden child, and this light that's flooding this blank vacancy of thought, this emptiness of thought. And it is actually interpreting the universe by soul signs. And therefore, Ashwapati he read from within the text of the without. So the riddle of this world grew plain and lost its catch obscure. Now, the catch here is something that there are many, many definitions of, but I think it's there's something concealed or unexpected, unforeseen, something that's caught. It's, but no, I think it's more concealed and unexpected. Yeah.
Okay. A larger luster lit the mighty page. I think that's a
Oh,
full
so
stop.
that's so beautiful, huh? A larger luster lit the mighty page. So this is, of course, Ashwapati, who is Sri Aurobindo, who is the avatar, the divine sage, seeing this. So we have to go all the way back. And he's now seeing all of these aspects, the riddle he's seeing. He's seeing the text of the without by looking at it from within.
Mm,
See? He's
yeah.
interpreting the universe by soul signs. So the larger luster lit the mighty page. Now we have to go to this next line.
A purpose mingled with the winds of time. A
So we
meaning.
see that, well,
Mhm,
yeah, I just wanted to stop there a moment because this
mhm,
whim, this whim is a very important word here.
mhm,
It seems to be a fancy or a capricious idea, this whim. And so a purpose is mingling with this seemingly fancy whims of time.
mhm.
We say things like time flies and,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I don't have time for this and other things. These are fancies. Um,
Mm,
he will come in some time. What does
mhm.
that mean? What does that mean? So we go on.
A meaning met the stumbling pace of chance, and fate revealed a chain of seeing will. A conscious wideness filled the old dumb space.
So we'll go through that and then I'll ask you to read the whole thing.
Sure.
So so we have this purpose that's
Mhm,
mingling with the fancies of time. Huh?
mhm,
And after that he says to us, a meaning met the stumbling pace of chance. Now, it's not really chance
mhm.
because in his essays, Divine and Human, he says chance is not in this universe. There's
Oh,
no chance here. The idea of illusion is itself an illusion. There
okay.
was never there was never illusion yet in the human mind that was not the concealing shape and disfigurement of a truth. See, so all these great sages who
Mhm,
said this whole earth was total illusion and
mm,
we need to get out of it, they got into moksha, liberation, not even the divine, but just into this state of absolute peace and calm, knowing that everything else was false, was illusory.
mhm,
But Sri Aurobindo says chance is not in this universe. What does he mean by that? He
mm,
means that there is everything is preordained. So
mm,
our lives are preordained, but we have within that preordination the possibility of change, of movement, of
mhm,
progress, of inner realization. So a meaning here
mhm,
met the stumbling pace of chance. And what did fate do? And fate revealed a chain of seeing will.
mm,
Now we've read a lot about fate, but I'd like to pick it up another day too. A
mhm,
conscious wideness filled the old dumb space.
mm.
And that's a good place to end for today. This
Sure.
conscious wideness that's filling this old silent space.
Mhm.
So you can begin from the beginning.
Sure. Going back to page 75.
Mhm. Yeah.
Once more was heard in the still cosmic mind the Eternal's promise to his laboring force
I would
in
prefer you say the eternals. Eternal,
eternals.
not eternal.
Eternal.
No one says eternal.
Yeah,
Eternal.
eternal. Okay.
But not too much.
Okay. And I'll keep practicing that. It's
Yeah, eternal, no problem.
eternal. Okay. Once more was heard in the still cosmic mind the Eternal's promise to his laboring force, inducing the world passion to begin, the cry of birth into mortality, and the opening verse of the tragedy of time. Out of the depths the world's buried secret rose. He read the original ukase kept back in the locked archives of the spirit script and saw the signature and fiery seal of wisdom on the dim power's hooded work, who builds in ignorance the steps of light. A sleeping deity opened deathless eyes. He saw the unshaped thought in soulless forms, new matter pregnant with spiritual sense. Mind dare the study of the unknowable, life its gestation, the golden child. In the light flooding thought's blank vacancy, interpreting the universe by soul signs, he read from within the text of the without. The riddle grew plain and lost its catch obscure. A larger lustre lit the mighty page. A purpose mingled with the winds of time. A meaning met the stumbling pace of chance. And fate revealed a chain of seeing will. A conscious wideness filled the old dumb space.
Very,
Okay.
very good reading.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Narad sir.
You're
Lot
welcome.
of information you provided today. Great knowledge. I'll keep hearing this session.
Good,
Thank,
good.
thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.